Hello, my name is Esther Cooper. I work for Complete Careers, and this presentation is the third of a set of 3 workshops, and today we're looking at the implementation of career-related learning in primary schools. My role is a CareerMark primary manager, and I'm also a careers advisor, so I work in secondary schools and support young people aged 11 up to 19. Today we're going to be having a look at the benefit and impact of career learning in primary schools, a model for delivery, the different components of the CareerMark Primary Award with a focus on the description grids and the evidence to support you in achieving the award. We'll have a look at the Career Development Institute framework, resources that can support you in your careers curriculum. We'll have a look through the process of the CareerMark Primary Award and what next for you as a school. So if you're accessing this presentation, you're already Complete Careers members, which is great to hear, and you'll be on board with delivering careers in primary schools. But just to set the scene, this quotation by the Careers and Enterprise Company highlights that career-related learning in primary schools is about broadening pupils' horizons, challenging stereotypes, and helping them develop the skills and sense of self that will enable them to reach their full potential. Careers learning in primary schools is something that I'm really passionate about and believe in, and the benefits are multiple, as you can see here. So some people think it's too early for children to decide what job they want to do in the future whilst they're at primary school, and I agree, it is too soon, but that's not what careers learning is about. There's so much more to it, and it can have the following outcomes, which are listed in the presentation, including helping children develop skills for later life. Understanding what sort of jobs there are will help them decide what will suit them in the future, helping children and young people as they move into adults to make better decisions and the right decisions for them. Children are given the opportunity to reflect on their skills and their strengths. As mentioned in the slide, that will then help with their sense of self, raising their confidence and self-esteem about who they are. Most children only know the jobs that their families do, so through career-related learning, their awareness of other careers and educational routes are widened, and career-related learning can help learners to deal with change and setbacks, building resilience, which will help them to be more confident in the future. I've got a young son in primary school in year 4 who recently went to apply to be a school counsellor. He had to stand at the front, deliver a presentation about why he'd be good in that role. And as a parent, that generated a discussion with him, obviously feeling really proud that he put himself forward for that, and also gave us that opportunity to talk to him about his skills and strengths and building resilience in the case of not getting those roles. Careers-related learning is often delivered in primary schools as part of PSHE. However, embedding careers across all subjects, topics and experiences will enable learners to make connections in their learning and appreciate the relevance of what they're learning, making connections to school, what they're learning in school with their future lives and careers. And as I mentioned, I work in secondary schools. I love to hear from young people, finding out what they're doing outside of school, building the skills for later life through being part of teams, being in captain of a football team, having part-time jobs, taking on responsibilities in schools are all building them ready for their futures. So this is an example of a model for leading and managing career development in the curriculum, which may well be familiar to you already due to its links with Ofsted. And we see this as a powerful model to use when developing the careers curriculum as well. So just to run through, we've got starting with intent. So this aspect of the model is looking at the vision, looking at policy, strategy, planning for what's going to be delivered for school, and having a look at what is in the best interest of the learners. Having a policy will help you to have a clear vision of what you want to achieve, what's the most important impact that you want for your learners, thinking about how career-related learning fits with your school's visions and values. Just so you're aware, there is a policy checklist available on the CDI framework handbook for schools. There's hopefully that will give you the guidance needed to put a strong policy in place. Moving on to the next part of the model, which is implementation. It's more than likely that you're already doing a lot of careers delivery within your primary school. So the CDI framework, which I'm going to have a look at next, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to bring in new curriculums, new themes, new lesson plans. What the framework does is provide an opportunity for you to adapt what is already being delivered, with the emphasis on careers, so an emphasis on raising aspirations, promoting optimism, and challenging stereotypes. For example, I'm aware, a common delivery theme in school is superheroes. So within that topic, you could incorporate areas looking at what are my skills, what are my qualities, bringing in that self-awareness, which is so important when we're looking at careers. Roman Empire could include a look at how many job roles that were around in Roman times are still around today, and if they're not around today, why not? What has changed? There are also a lot of themes linking in with events that are probably already happening in school, which can be used to celebrate careers. So events such as World Book Day, Black History Month, Enterprise Week. There's so much within those that can be cross-referenced across with the Career Development Institute framework and delivered within school. Moving on to the next stage of the model, which is impact. So this is having a look at how successful it has been making learning enjoyable, achieving positive outcomes, and it is helpful to gain evaluation data from a variety of sources, including learners, and we like to see parents involved. There are examples of the learning outcomes linked to the 6 areas of learning in the CDI framework, which we'll be having a look at next. So hopefully as we go on throughout the presentation, you'll see how things connect together. So having this model in place will hopefully then link in with how the framework works, how that will help in delivery, which then fits with the Careers Primary Award and the description grids and how to complete them. Hopefully this is a document that you are aware of, that you've seen. This is the Career Development Framework and it's the handbook for primary schools. In April 2021, the Career Development Institute, the CDI, produced an all-age framework for careers delivery in schools starting at 4 upwards. Prior to this, the framework was written for Key Stage 3 upwards. The framework helps to create, deliver and evaluate an effective careers learning programme in a primary context. And it links together with the Gatsby benchmarks, the Quality in Careers Standard, setting out the skills, knowledge and attitudes that individuals need to have for a positive future career path. It also helps to embed the understanding that careers is not just a process of choosing a job, which I mentioned earlier. It's a process of ongoing learning and development throughout life. There's a link on the presentation here which you can follow to take you directly to the handbook, which is downloadable, and it's well worth having a copy of that and printing it out. These are the 6 learning areas highlighted in the framework. When supporting somebody with career learning, these areas will help to develop the skills, the knowledge, and the attitudes to have a positive career path. This is an example taken from the framework of one of the sections where it breaks down the learning area. In this case, I've picked out managed career, but obviously there is a similar example of this box, of this table, for the other learning areas as well, providing objectives. It suggests activities, and it also links everything together with useful resources when helping planning and in delivery. Okay, so let's move on and have a look at resources. The Careers and Enterprise Company have this website, which is a great resource to support delivery. You can see this is a screenshot of the home page, and it's broken down into introduction, resources. You can have a look at practice and news and events. It has some really good opportunities to access resources for specific areas around STEM, breaking stereotypes. It's really useful. It will help embed career-related learning in the curriculum. It has the activities which you can access and download, and also opportunities to learn more about how to engage parents and other stakeholders in career-related learning. And also there's top tips and current developments and news stories. I've picked out STEM as an example of cross-curriculum delivery. Obviously careers is embedded in all subjects and can be picked out and delivered in schools. Looking at these pictures, I'm sure quite a few of these activities already take place and look familiar to you. When it comes to evidencing careers within STEM, these are the sort of areas that we're looking for. It could be that you access STEM in Action careers visits. It may be that you have talks from local or online visitors who work within science-based professions. Visits to local employers within areas such as agriculture, environmental, animal and engineering-based firms. Extracurricular activities, roles and resources. So if you have forest schools coming into school, eco warriors, Lego club, coding clubs, that would all be great evidence of how you're linking career-related learning with STEM. There's posters, notice boards promoting STEM-related work, which will be great to see. On the whole, a lot of this can be evidenced by taking photos, and we're not looking for a vast amount of photos. Sort of 2 or 3 reflecting different year groups would be sufficient. Any topic or project work that you do on areas such as wind farms, green engineering and the environment. Discussions and books on inspirational people linked to STEM, such as Florence Nightingale, Katherine Johnson, Stephen Hawking, are great ways that you're bringing careers and STEM together, raising aspirations, making learners aware of the opportunities and jobs and roles that they can do within STEM-based career roles. And also if the learners are accessing news stories, I know sometimes news round clips may be played, videos from shows such as Nina and the Neurons, which is a science-based children's programme. It may be that there's informal conversations about the flooding in countries due to climate change. You might generate a conversation around things like Frozen Planet. So they're the sort of areas that we're looking for. It can be informal and it can be evidenced on the description grids, which we're going to have a look at. And it can also be evidenced through the assessment day. So we can then build on the photos that you send through by talking to the learners in school about their experiences, what they learned, what they enjoyed from having STEM-based career-related learning. So I also just wanted to make you aware of a careers resource, which is something that Complete Careers is providing and promoting, called Transitions. And this is a resource for pupils at the end of year 6. So we're currently pulling it together. It will be available free of charge for you to use, and hopefully that will be coming soon and will be made available ready for you to use with the current year 6s. Possibly something you'll be looking to use with them more after Christmas. And it's all around transition, so reflecting on their experiences of transition and the skills it has helped them to develop, having a look at career opportunities available to them. So specifically there it says Lincoln. It can be adapted to have a look at the local labour market wherever you're based. And then another objective of the resource is how to use that learning to plan for transitions to come. What's useful with this resource as well is that it does relate back to the CDI framework, so you can see in the objectives the starred abbreviations. So you've got GTL, which is one of the learning outcomes called Growth Throughout Life. EP is the Explore Possibilities outcome, and MC is Managing Change. The sessions are split into 3, and the first one is having a look at identifying change, reflecting on changes that have happened, having a look at changes that are to come, and relating that to the transition from year 6 to secondary school, but also having a look at future career decisions, relating it to career paths, having a look at other people's transitions in their lives. And it is linking in with resources such as videos and websites that you can access. The second session is more looking at coping with change, the feelings that may bring. That has a link in with Young Minds Charity, quizzes, activity sheets, looking at self-awareness. And the third session is more around how they're going to cope with longer term change. So allowing students to look at careers that might suit them, how to achieve them. It also opens up an opportunity to explore the different options that are going to be open to them, which is something we really like to see as assessors, that awareness of their future options. So things like apprenticeships, universities, and having a look at different pathways of what will be open to them in the future. If you're interested in this resource going forward, that's something that we can make available to you. So I will be making all members aware of this at the right time when it's ready to be disseminated. But also, if you are interested in the meantime, just let me know, drop me an email. I'll give you my email address at the end of this session. Okay, so moving on to have a look at the CareerMark Primary Award. So we've had a look at the framework, we've had a look at a model for delivery and resources. So pulling that all together, how that fits with the CareerMark Primary Award. It's broken down into 5 components. The first 4 are impact, management, curriculum, and staff training. They are presented in the form of description grids. So they're documents that you need to fill out and then send to us. And we're going to be having a look at those on the next few slides. The learner outcome component of the award is the assessment day. So that's where we get the opportunity to speak to your learners. We get to put a bit more meat on the bones of the evidence that you've provided and speak to different year groups, staff, teachers about the career curriculum in your school. So I'm going to go through the 4 description grids, just hopefully to make you feel a little bit more comfortable with the forms, what they look like, and to give you an idea of what we're looking for. Completing the description grids is an important step to being successful in the assessment. You use these description grids to explain what you do and why. Each of the description grids has a number of indicators and they are in the form of questions. So you can see in description grid 1 along the side there are 5 indicators. So there are 5 questions which you need to answer. Across the 4 description grids there are 14 altogether. So hopefully that doesn't sound too daunting. So if you could work through them one at a time, answer those indicators in the next box along, and then you can see where you list the evidence to prove that you're doing what you say you are. Remember, you're writing these for an assessor who knows nothing about your school, so keep them clear and concise. There will be some overlap, and that's fine. There's an overlap in evidence, which is also fine, and I'll show you how to number the evidence on the next slide. Some good practice is to save the description grids and the associated evidence in 4 separate folders, and then they can be sent over to the assessor. I think this helps you, it helps schools be more organised, pulling everything together, and it also helps the assessor as well. It's more accessible and clearer for them to have a look through. The other thing to remember when completing the description grids, just remember that your school is unique. Be proud of what you're doing and answer the indicators in your own way that's personal to your school, and as we've mentioned earlier, is linking back to your school's sort of policy and vision. What I've put here is an example of a description grid taken from a school submission who were successful in achieving the Career Mark Primary Award earlier this year. So you can have a look there. It lists in a bullet point form the description of 1.1. So how do you set targets and objectives for your CEIAG activities? So that's careers, education, information, advice and guidance. It also has the list of evidence and they're highlighted, making it nice and clear. So highlighted and numbered. And what you'll find is like the careers and employability calendar is number 3. That's being used in question 1.1, but that will also be relevant across the 4 description grids, and continue to use it as evidence piece number 3. So you can repeat the number and that just makes it clearer and hopefully more straightforward for you. So what I've got here is description grid 2. This is more focused on how you lead, manage and deliver the careers curriculum in school. So this one has 2 questions, so hopefully that helps you to see it's not too overwhelming. And on the next slide you can see an example of 2.1. How does your school lead, manage and resource your CEIAG provision? And they've again bullet pointed nice and clearly with the evidence listed and numbered. Description grid number 3 has a focus on the content and range of the careers curriculum. So this description grid has 4 questions. What I've done for this description grid is give you an example taken from our guidance document, which is called Completing Your Description Grids. And this is available to all members and it's on the Complete Careers website. The link is there for this document, and this is available for you to access and has examples for all 4 of the standards. So again, you've got some ideas of what should be included in the description and some examples of evidence that would prove how you're delivering in school. So this is the final description grid number 4, and this has the focus on training. So we're having a look at, are staff trained and competent in the delivery of careers in school? And this one has 3 indicators, 3 questions for you to have a look at and complete. And this is an idea of what we'd be looking for, taken again from that guidance document that you can access on our website. So this is the 4th description grid, and you can see on the right hand side the last piece of evidence on there is 21. So you'll have probably seen that some of those numbers are repeated throughout the grids, but also it gives you an idea of how much evidence we're looking for. We're not looking for reams and reams of evidence. Again, with things like photos, we don't need 10, 20 photos, just 3 or 4 giving a good idea of what you're doing in school, 3 or 4 photos of work that the learners have provided is sufficient, and then we can build on that during the assessment day. So moving on and having a look at the process. The process to achieve the Career Mark Primary Award, the starting point is to become a member. Hopefully, if you're accessing this presentation, that means you are all members. But if not, that's something that we can support you with, and you need to become a member before you can apply to achieve the Career Mark Primary Award. Once you are a member, you'll receive support and guidance. So that's through the website. That will be accessing myself, being in touch with me. I can support and guide you, answer any questions that you've got throughout the process. You also have the opportunity to complete a self-assessment. So that's a good starting point, having a look at if you're ready. It works through the description grids, having a look at if you have sufficient evidence, if you have the right evidence, and if you feel ready, at that point then you book an assessment. Booking an assessment is a commitment to going through the process, but it doesn't necessarily happen straight away. So if you can get a date in place, we normally look at around 6 to 8 weeks from booking the assessment, and then the next phase would be to send over the evidence and description grids to your assigned assessor. So that may be myself. There are currently 4 of us, and we're looking to get more assessors on board in the new year. We're not here to set you up to fail. If the description grids and the evidence came through and we didn't think you were ready to go through to the next stage, we would feed that back. And we're here to support and guide you through the process. So we wouldn't put you through to the next phase. We're not here to set anybody up to fail. So the assessment day is the final phase of the assessment. The assessment day is run over a morning. It's an opportunity for your assessor and yourself to get together, talk things through, having a conversation around the evidence, the description grids, putting a bit more meat on the bones. And what we also like to do is speak to staff, speak to support staff who are involved in careers delivery, and also have the opportunity to meet some of your learners. So that may be learners from across the school. If careers is delivered across the school, it's nice to see, you know, the younger ones. I've had groups of year 2 before who were great and answered the questions really well. We had some great conversations and a good reflection really across the year groups. So probably year 4, and then we really like to see the year 6s. Obviously we can talk to them more about the transition, the moving on from primary. We normally see around 5 or 6 in each group, and at present on the whole that is done remotely, which works well. Obviously gives us the flexibility to work with different schools in different areas. So on accreditation, you receive a report and the award. You would gain a plaque and a certificate, the career mark, primary logo, which recognises good practice. The award lasts for 2 years, and at that point you then can go for reaccreditation. And the reaccreditation process is a lot simpler, a lot more straightforward. So you can resubmit description grids, obviously building on evidence of any new careers delivery that's happened in school. So what's next? The time frame can be bespoke. I'm here to support and help you through the process. If it works for you as a school to send over the first 2 description grids, say within a time frame of 4 weeks, and then we can have a look at them and see if you're on the right lines, that's absolutely fine. You could then send through the next 2 description grids and then have that assessment completed by the end of the year. So obviously it depends when you're watching this video, but hopefully that gives you an idea that we can do it bespokely. We're here to support you through the process and hopefully celebrate the careers related learning that you're doing in school. Also, we like to see schools sharing practice. There's no need to reinvent the wheel. If you are working across an academy, if you are close with other schools locally, maybe sharing resources, sharing policies and delivery plans is absolutely fine. It's good to see, you know, schools working together and sharing practice. Okay, so what next? There's a primary careers conference on November the 15th, which we're running at Complete Careers, and that's something we're really excited about. It's our first conference. We have been running secondary careers conferences for a while now, but we feel it's the right time to run a primary careers conference, and it would be great if you could be there. It will be an opportunity for you to get an update from the Careers and Enterprise Company on the current situation with careers in primary schools. There'll be a presentation from John Ambrose around the CDI framework. We've got a school coming in to talk about their experience of completing the Career Mark Primary Award, and Primary Futures are delivering a presentation around resources to support you in school with career-related learning delivery. So hopefully that will be something that you can come along to, and will provide an opportunity for you to build networks, ask any questions. And finally, this is my email address. If you have any questions, if you need any support, get in touch with me. I'm hoping today has helped to clear things up around what evidence is needed, how to implement careers in school, as well as how to evidence that implementation in achieving the Career Mark Primary Award. So thank you everybody for listening today, and I look forward to meeting you all and hearing from you all in the future.